Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a dramatic new development in the war in Ukraine. It looks like a peace plan might have just been blown up behind the closed doors of the White House. We're going to unpack this secret, super high-stakes meeting that reportedly turned into a full-on shouting match and what that means for the war going forward.
Okay, let's just jump right in with the most explosive detail. According to the Financial Times, this recent meeting at the White House, well, it wasn't your typical tense diplomacy. We're talking about a reported shouting match. I mean, this just shows you the raw, intense pressure that's being put on everyone to try and end this war.
So you gotta ask, right? What leads to such a massive blow-up between supposed allies? To figure out where this is all going, we really have to get inside what happened in that room.
All right, so Section 1, the shouting match in Washington. Publicly, President Zelensky described the meeting as frank. Now, if you know anything about diplomacy, frank is basically code for it was a total disaster. Insider accounts are painting a much more explosive picture.
And just look at what was reportedly said in that frank meeting. According to sources, the pressure was just immense. President Trump allegedly told Zelensky that Putin would destroy Ukraine. The U.S. side was even said to be echoing Russian talking points, pushing Zelensky to just surrender the Donbass region. And after all that, Zelensky apparently walks away with nothing. No Tomahawk missiles he was hoping for.
Okay, so this whole confrontation didn't just come out of nowhere. It wasn't in a vacuum. It was actually the direct result of a huge diplomatic move that was announced just the day before. And that was this proposed summit in Budapest.
Yeah, check this out. The day before Zelensky even lands in D.C., Trump and Putin dropped this bombshell announcement. They're planning to meet face-to-face in Budapest to try and work out a deal. The message being sent to Zelensky here is pretty clear, right? It's basically, we're doing this, so you better get on board.
Zelensky's response to this was honestly a masterclass in political maneuvering. On one hand, he says, sure, I'm ready to talk. He even brings up the idea of shuttle diplomacy, where someone goes back and forth between them. But, and this is a big but, he draws a very clear line in the sand. He calls out Hungary as the location, pointing out that its leader, Viktor Orban, is a well-known ally of the Kremlin. So how can that possibly be neutral ground? It's a fair point.
And this gets us to the absolute core of the problem. Even if you could get all three leaders in a room together, what happens then? They have completely, fundamentally different ideas of what peace even means. This is the real sticking point.
And you can see that divide perfectly right here. Zelensky's vision is for a just peace, not a quick peace. That's what he reportedly told Trump. But the push from the U.S. side seems to be much more blunt. Just stop where they are. Freeze the conflict as it is, right now. And Trump himself made this pretty crystal clear in a social media post. His whole idea is let both claim victory, let history decide. Basically, freeze the front lines, let everyone say they won, and move on. It's a very fast, very pragmatic, and you could say, a deeply controversial way to try and stop the fighting.
Now, when we talk about surrendering the Donbass, it's really important to understand what that actually means. We're not talking about a small patch of land here. The Donbass region is this huge industrial heartland in eastern Ukraine, and it's been the absolute epicenter of this conflict for like a decade now.
So, the gap between what each side wants, it's not a crack, it's a canyon. It's huge. Zelensky's position is clear. Ukraine will not gift anything to the aggressor. Meanwhile, Russia isn't just asking for the Donbass. Their demand is a complete withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from 4 entire regions. From Kiev's perspective, that's not a peace deal. That's just outright surrender.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. To really get a handle on this moment, you have to look at the relationship between Trump and Zelensky over time. And let me tell you, it has been volatile, to say the least.
I mean, look at this timeline. It really shows you how all over the place things have been. Just back in February, you had Trump and his VP, J.D. Vance, basically berating Zelensky on live TV. Then, just last month, Trump does a complete 180, saying Kyiv could win all of Ukraine back in its original form. And now we're hearing reports that he's pressuring Zelensky to give up territory. This whiplash, this constant shifting, just adds a whole other layer of crazy uncertainty to any potential talks.
And let's not forget what's physically at stake here. We're talking about 20%. 20% of Ukraine's territory is currently under Russian control. That's a massive chunk of land, including Crimea, which was annexed way back in 2014, plus huge swaths of the east and south. So really, when you boil it all down, what we're watching is a collision course.
On one side, you have this intense, high-stakes push to just end the war right now. And on the other, you have these fundamentally opposed, totally incompatible visions for what peace, or even victory, actually is.
Which leaves us with the big, critical question, doesn't it? When the diplomatic positions are this far apart and the relationships are this unstable, is a real negotiated peace even on the table? Or are we just watching the prelude to an even more dangerous chapter of this war?